Okay, I'm trying this video here because I feel compelled to help you guys out. Look, I just want to tell you a couple of things about removing the bumper. And there's one pressure clip, one pressure clip, or whatever you call it, push pin, at the top here, right here. And there's one of these self-threading, self-tapping, 10 millimeter bolts, and it's right along here. But the other thing that's here is one of those hex things. It's like a Allen wrench deal. Now, the reason I'm recording this is because the other videos that I've seen do not talk about how difficult it is to take the existing bulbs out of the harnesses that are attached to the dead headlight. And that's not hard to take them out. I labeled everything, so I've got all the bulbs labeled, and I labeled all the receptacles on the new headlight assembly. But what's challenging and what was not explained was that you have to take this HID out of the existing headlamp assembly, and you have to disconnect the ballast, which is in here, and reassemble the whole thing in the new assembly. And this was not covered in any of the videos that I watched, and is considerably time consuming. The good news is I didn't disconnect the battery. I'm sure that's bad practice. I did not remove this piece. I don't know why anybody would. It's not required. I did disconnect I did take this fascia off. This thing off the top of it goes like that. Anyway, I took this off. That covers the power steering reservoir, and allows you to fill the windshield washer fluid. I disconnected that bolt, and of course the bolts that attach the headlight assembly itself, I also took them out. There are a number of pressure clips that hold the bumper in place, and before you can remove the bumper, you have to go into the wheel well and disconnect. This is one of those hex Allen wrench type bolts I was telling you about. That goes right here. And when you get that out and you get this pressure clip, this one pressure clip, push pin, I should call it, up here, you get that out, you can pull the splash guard away, and you can see there's one bolt holding this part of the bumper up. And so you take that bolt out, and you should be in good shape to shove it forward like that. See how it's shoved forward, and then you can get at the last remaining bolt that is holding the headlamp assembly in, and that's right here. These are all 10 millimeters. Once you take that out though, there's another little problem right here. This thing is, it's like a clip that holds a plastic matching piece on the headlamp assembly itself. And you gotta kind of lift that out of there. I was terrified that I had broken something because it popped loose so violently. I hope I haven't. But anyway, guys, I just felt compelled to try to do a little something on this. I know I should have filmed this from the beginning, but I don't have any help. So I'm here doing the best I can, and I'm trying to help you guys out a little bit. I just think that it's both more complex and less complicated than it's been presented on some of the other video. Anyway, I'm gonna keep you posted. I'm gonna try to reassemble this ballast. The ballast is in here. Right here are these 3 machine bolts that come with the new assembly, and this is how they're used to put through the bracket that holds the retaining tray for the ballast, which you can see in there. It comes with 3 screws that are designed to be used on the bracket, the retaining bracket, and they screw through the retaining bracket and through the cover and into the ears of the ballast to stabilize the ballast, in addition to the plastic, molded plastic guides that the ballast slips into. Right here, you can see it fits neatly into this slot. All right, so this is the placeholder for the leveling actuator that actually goes into this slot when we reinstall it. Here. And you have to slide it out of there. You have to push it down so that it comes out. After you turn this, you have to slide it out by pushing it downward and then take it out. It can be discarded at that point. It's only to stabilize the unit during shipment. And the actual actuator has a piece on it, a post on it, similar to this, but it's covered with black rubber. So all of this has to be done before the ballast is installed, and this ballast cover has 4 screws on it, and then it has a bracket that fits on top of it that also has a couple of screws. And the unit comes with 3 screws. Here's the bumper clip. This bumper clip has to be removed and put onto the new headlight assembly. And the way it's done is with needle nose pliers. This is the passenger side assembly, and I've just taken the high intensity discharge bulb out of here by releasing these clips after having taken this seal off. And I want to show you what I did with that bulb. And of course I never touch it with my hands. Never touch any of these bulbs with your hands. So what I did was I walked right over here to the new assembly and I locked it right in place so that I never have any question about where the heck the high intensity bulb went. And as you can tell, I have labeled everything so that I can figure out where all these bulbs go and reassemble the new light assembly. And of course, that's exactly what's happening here. I have to disassemble this one right here. I've got to take the ballast out, which you can see down in there, the ballast. And I've got to take out this leveling rod, which works to level the HID light fixture. So it's very complicated. And none of this was ever portrayed on any YouTube video that I've seen. So if you buy one of these Taiwan knockoffs with no bulbs in it, this is the kind of thing you're going to have to do. And of course, they're much cheaper. I think I got mine for $80 or $90 a piece. And the catch is you have to rebuild the thing from the ground up. Anyway, there it is. This leveling mechanism, which is right here, it has the O-ring under it, remember? And that has a post with a nub on it that's got to be fitted into this counterpart slot, which is right there. You can't see it very well because I've already put it in there because I can't hold the camera, the flashlight, and put it in there. But you've got to leave this thing open so that you can, and I disconnected the cable from the HID light so that I could get at this thing and hold it, pull it toward me while I slip this thing into its little groove for the leveling mechanism. This leveler mechanism, which is right here. Okay, now look, this leveler mechanism, which is right here, that has to be inserted. All right, more true confession time. You can see that I've had to take the ballast cover and the bracket off of the assembly because when I got this back on here, I put this cover onto the ballast and I put this brace on top of there, and I found that I only had a couple of screws to go in here and here. So that seemed a little odd, and it occurred to me that there was really nothing holding it to the cover here and here, and that's when I decided to take it apart again and see what I'd missed, and I think I missed something important. These self-tapping screws came out of the old assembly, and I believe they will go through these holes, well, through this bracket, through these holes, and into these little ears on the ballast. And that's what I'm going to try to do. So this is the old number 4, which is here. And that's the marker light, the parking light. And this is the old receptacle, and you have to push down on this tab and pull it out, and then you can see that it looks similar to the new one, which was already in the new assembly in the Taiwan knockoff assembly. So why not put the new one in there, and that's what I'm doing. And it just goes in like that. So it just goes in just like the other one and snaps into place. Thank God. And now we're ready to try to put some of these things back together. Let's see how we do. You turn it around, you see how it goes inside. Everything's still in place. I'm just taking it on faith that I can shove that leveling device back in there, because I don't know how I'd do that otherwise. Don't lose this freaking O-ring, buddy. That O-ring is important. So I'm leaving it off of there until I need it, which is when I'm gonna put it on there, when I shove this thing back inside. And I hope to God it works. I wanted to mention that there is one light bulb that comes with this Taiwan knockoff, and it's this parking light. Criminy. Parking light right there. So that comes with it. And that's a, I'm sure that's a Sylvania 168, which is right here. But you don't have to reuse the old bulb. At least I think you don't. I don't understand. And I think it's supposed to look something like that when you put it back the way it's supposed to be. Well, it might have been nice to look at it before I took it apart, but I don't have that luxury. I guess I'll have to wait until I do the passenger side. Anyway, now I've got a chance to show you how this cloth covered cable that goes to the HID light is supposed to come into these little slots here, and so that it retains that cloth covered cord. All right, it's true confession time. I had to take the ballast cover back off and the ballast out because something that looks like this was shoved into this hole. I want you to note that there's an O-ring around here, and it was jammed into this little piece right here, which I think must have something to do, you see that? It was jammed in like that. Sorry about the quality of the video, it sucks. It was jammed into that thing. All right, so I had to pry it out of there with a pair of needle nose pliers and take it out based on faith that it was nothing but a placeholder for this, which I believe has something to do with the leveling of the HID light. Although, considering how little I know and how much I'm learning as I go, take that with a grain of salt. But anyway, the point is I couldn't get it out. When I tried to take it out of that, after I had already mounted the ballast and the ballast cover, I could not manage it. And I had to take it all apart again so that I could get this thing out of here. Anyway, good riddance. This is that piece that slides into a clip on the mounted on that in the engine compartment. It's right there, and it snaps in there. The assembly is held in by 3 bolts, and I'll show you where those are. Just clip up a little bit to put on the new assembly, and you see these 2 holes that ought to just snap right in there. That's what I'm betting. And there you go. And that's going to hold our bumper top. I was chased inside by what looked like a tornado. Anyway, this is my 2004 Lexus 330, RX330, all-wheel drive, 6-cylinder mechanical fuel injected dual overhead cam. It's got about 119,000 miles on it. It's 15 years old, and I love this car. It is absolutely awesome. That's why I'm putting the time into putting these new headlights on there. I think it's going to look real nice if I can ever get it done. I'll keep you informed. Okay, I want to show you how to get this clip off of here. This is the old headlight assembly, as you can tell from all the condensation on the inside. We need this clip, and the way to get it off, it's held in here by these two plastic clips, and you need a pair of needle nose pliers like that. Just get in there and squeeze that piece together, and at the same time pry it up with a screwdriver like this so that it don't snap back on you. And there you go. Now you need this because this holds the bumper. The bumper will slide right into this thing once the headlight assembly is mounted again, and it'll hold the bumper secure, the bumper cover. Anyway, wanted to show you that. You need those clips, don't forget them. And this connector slides into this little piece right here. You can see how it goes in there. It's not this side, it's this side. It goes in like that. I'm trying to do this one-handed. I hope you forgive me. I know it's a crummy video. And really, I wouldn't even have taken this on if I didn't feel the need to warn people trying to attempt this that you better be prepared to rewire a little bit of this new headlight assembly, which, I mean, it shouldn't be a big surprise, but because it wasn't included in the last video, I kind of forgot about it. And there you go. Keep you posted. Okay, well, never mind, because you see those two screws are in there. Those were already mounted. This part was already in the new assembly. And it was already screwed to the assembly with these two little screws. So the ones that I had taken out of the old unit, I didn't need to take out of the old unit, perhaps. And this is the HID light fixture itself, the actual bulb and the base that is clipped in here with these clips that come out like this. You see, you press them out, and then they snap back in like that. See that? So that now you know how it's done. You can take the bulb out and reuse it in the new unit, and put the ballast in here into this receptacle with 6 screws, at least in my version. It's got 6 screws. And the ballast is attached to the light with this thing right here, and it goes in there like this. Sorry about my hand being in the way, but and then it snaps in there like that. And this, you have to squeeze that rubber piece that's designed to keep this thing watertight, and you see it's got a O-ring going all the way around this, and you push that through, make sure you get it snug. And you notice that I've managed to connect the right things, at least so far. I'll keep you posted. Here's another look at the bumper cover, disconnected and pushed forward. You know, people who make these videos, I think, need to slow down. I'm always trying to slow them down. And so I wanted to go back over some of these things. Once you take that Allen screw out of there, it's really not an Allen screw, but it's a hex type bolt, and this pressure clip up here, you'll be able to see the last remaining bolt that holds the bumper cover in place, and you can disconnect it. All of these things are 10 millimeters unless I specify otherwise. And I want to remind you of something that I forgot. When this HID light comes out of here and you put the thing back in, you got to remember to put these two little screws in that go right here. These little screws. There's two little holes for screws right there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there they are. When you take those little screws out, as you have to get it loose from the old assembly, put them aside. Don't forget about them. Because before you put the cover on, this cover right here, you need to make sure that that thing is secured, which I failed to do. The HID assembled. Okay, so this heavy cord has a little, I don't see how you can see that, but believe me, there's a little clip type thing on the top of the ballast, and you kind of shove that heavy cloth covered cord for the HID into it, and the ballast itself is held in there by 6 screws on this version, and it fits snugly in there. You shove this rubber piece back through the cap here, and we should be good to go. Okay, look, there were 2 little screws that held the ballast into the original Toyota or Lexus assembly, but they are not required for this knockoff, and it fits right in there, and you just slide it in there, and it fits like a glove. So don't worry about those 2 screws. Look, I didn't tell you about this. You have to take this bulb, which is the HID, out of here, out of the old one. You gotta release these clips like this, and they pop up like this. And when you pick them up, you can take that bulb right out of there. And you can take the bulb out of the assembly and put it right back in here, and you see how I've got it's clipped in. It just slides in there. There's a big notch for a big, you see that right there? That is a part of the new assembly, and it fits. The HID bulb fits right in there, and then you put the clips back and lock them in. All right, so I've got the ballast back into the new unit here, and I'm going to try to reassemble it. I'll let you know how it goes. The ballast I was telling you about, and it's got to come out, and it's got to go back in the new unit. I think the other guys purchased a more expensive assembly that came with the new ballast and all the bulbs included. I went cut rate, and this is my reward. These are the connectors that have to come with the ballast. After you take out these 4 screws here, and you put them in the new one. I'm going to put that in the new one over here. There's actually 6 screws that go into that. But I wanted you to see what the ballast looks like. You got to push this thing through here like that. I guess. I hope. Thank God. And now it ought to come out, and there it is. So I've got my ballast out, I saved my screws, and I'm ready to try to put it back in the new unit. I'll let you know how it goes. All right, so here it is, completely restored, brand new light assemblies. Going through all the motions. Blinkers? How about headlights? And brights? And there you go. 2004 Lexus RX330 with new headlight assemblies.